the way Anchorman was filmed, there was so much improvisation, which I had worked in, I'd done improv and stuff like that before, but not like that.
Reminder.
2024.
I definitely have a lot to learn about comedy. I have a lot to learn about a lot of things. And it is a master class getting to work with them and to see how they work and to see kind of over several takes how Bill Murray will come up with new ideas or jokes is really an incredible thing to get to witness. But what was really, I'd say, the most amazing classroom experience was sitting and just talking to them about their lives and what it was like when they were starting their careers. I had some really amazing moments. That was the best part of shooting the whole movie, getting to hear their stories.
2015.
It was a very unintended, happy accident to get to work with Adam again, certainly as a writer. Like, he and I worked on the script for Ant-Man. And that was never supposed to be the case. It was just Edgar Wright was the director, and he and Joe Cornish had written a script, and then they eventually left the project, and it went through different versions. And then Adam and I came on and were hired as writers to try and move the thing forward. But it was nice to get to work with Adam in that way, because I love Adam McKay. I think he's brilliant. And to get to work with him as a writer and not just like as an actor and director was really gratifying.
2005.
There was really no Apatow thing, because like Apatow's first movie that he ever directed was 40-Year-Old Virgin, which I then went from Anchorman to that. And as the years went by and we all worked together on each other's films, the actors and Judd as a director, it was really exciting because they still felt like we were doing these independent comedies that were meant for us that no one was really gonna see, but they hit. And so to be a part of something that people liked, that it was successful, and to go on it as a journey with the same actors, the same group, was really fun and gratifying.
It feels like a bag of sand when you're touching it.
Bag of sand?
I would say, like, I always envied musicians that got to be in bands, because even before I started this, I thought, oh, it must be so much more fun to be in a band and find success, because you share it with your bandmates versus a solo artist. No one knows what that feels like. And at least on, like, when the Apatow films were happening, and it was happening with all of us as a kind of a rep company, it was nice to go through it with other people, to say, like, isn't this nuts that these movies are really working? And that part was pretty great.
2004.
Anchorman was really a major one for me, because after that, that's where I met Judd Apatow. For the following decade, I worked with a lot of those same actors in comedies, which I hadn't really done before Anchorman. But the way Anchorman was filmed, there was so much improvisation, which I had worked in, I'd done improv and stuff like that before, but not like that.
She gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
The way that Adam McKay, who directed that film, would film, where and Will Ferrell would just start saying things, and we'd film it, and then maybe he'd yell out a line, and it turned into a bit of a free-for-all. It created so many amazing organic moments that it changed the way I approach the work, where after that I started leaving moments where it's like, I'm gonna do what's written in the script, but maybe we can just keep filming and see what happens. And I think I started doing that a lot more after Anchorman. I haven't really played a lot of bad guys, really, or villains, but I have played a number of people with unearned confidence and just morons. And those are really, really fun. And it's certainly in comedies. I mean, in Anchorman, Brian Fantana is a cartoon character. He's a schmuck. And then same thing with, you know, like in a movie, Wet Hot American Summer, which I don't know, probably didn't get over here, but it's like playing another kind of just a dumb guy.
Andy, are you gonna clean that up?
Oh, yeah.
They're fun parts to play, but it's like that seemed to be the most extreme anybody would ever cast me for, versus like some straight up villain. I'm still waiting for that role.
1996.
I never imagined that my career would lead to so many comedies. When I studied, I didn't study sketch comedy or stand-up. I didn't do any of that. I studied classical theater. And so when Romeo and Juliet was casting, when that movie was happening, I knew it was happening, and my goal was like, I just want to get an audition for that because I've spent years now working on Shakespeare, and I know how to do it, and I know what this means, and I can do that role. And so I was able to get an audition, and I was able to get a part in that movie. And I think the only reason I was so gung-ho to try and get an audition is because I felt like, oh, I learned about this stuff in theater school.
Will you now deny to dance?
A man, young lady, such a man.
1995.
Well, I mean, it was just an overwhelming thing. I couldn't believe I was working on a movie, first of all. It was very exciting, and my career was just kind of starting, and I was very happy to have gotten the part. I liked everyone that worked on the film, and the experience was terrific. You know, I couldn't ever have imagined all these years later that it would still be a cultural reference point.
Konbini!